The Rockshox Vivid is very large. Make sure it fits on your bike before you add it. The main body is 58 millimeters and the longest part of the piggyback is about 101 millimeters. Number one choice should be a Bike Pacific tune. The base programming or tune is going to make your life a lot easier. You may run into the problem where you can't find your exact shock size due to availability. On most bikes, 2.5 millimeter change does not affect it too much. So we got to figure out what hardware goes inside. Back to the computer, to the LOSCO, scroll to the bottom of the page, hit shock hardware, find your bike, locate the Fox hardware, your exact size. This is shock mounting hardware. The reason I told you to run Fox hardware because they use these polymer bushings that press in by hand. Rockshox style is the DU bushing and these things are a complete pain in the ass. The eyelets on the shock are universal, so you can put Fox hardware in Rockshox. To remove this bushing, you need a special pressing tool. If you're not a professional workshop, these eBay cheapies work perfectly good. Check out how easy the Fox hardware goes in, by hand. Assuming some of you are riding specialized bikes, if you have a high-low bracket, the high-low bracket goes into the raw shock with no bushing. Let's rip it apart, put volume spacers in it. This shock is a little challenging, so take it off the bike if it's on there and make sure you clean it and stay clean. Release all the air from the shock and you're gonna have to hit the Schrader valve a couple different times because this shock has a huge negative air chamber and the air gets trapped inside. Remove the rebound knob first thing and do not forget to take that out. The official instructions say to put it in a vise with a strap wrench, twist the outer can while pulling it up towards the piggyback. The outer air can is going to feel like it's cemented on. We only have to pull it up about ½ an inch to expose the clip. If you don't have a vise, I was able to push the air can down by hand on the table. It's going to take a ton of force. Once that's pushed down a little bit, it's going to expose this little clip. Use a tiny screwdriver, locate the channel right there, and that clip will easily remove from the shock. Once that clip is removed, we can slide the outer air can in the opposite direction, push down towards the table. I did break one of the O-rings sealing the air canister up. My vise was not heavy duty enough to hold the shock to use the proper instructions. If you go to Home Depot and buy a plumbing repair kit, I replaced the O-ring, it wasn't too hard. Taking the air canister off your first time is pretty challenging, I'm not gonna lie. Second time, not a big deal. It's gonna tell you how many spacers your shock can take. Mine can take 4. I would recommend it starting at 50% of the shock's volume spacers. This shock relies on air spring pressure for the support, so it's vital that you get the correct volume spacers. If you're struggling on which volume spacers to take, just leave a comment, I'll try to calculate it. There's about 9,000 different variables from bike progressivity to rider weight to riding style when it comes to volume spacers. My initial ride on this bike was with 2 volume spacers, but I'm going to test it out with 4 for this video. The rebound knob on the Rockshox Vivid is a little bit challenging to move, so you can use a 4mm Allen key instead of the provided knob to make the adjustments. What we're gonna do is take the low speed compression, put it to the softest setting, the high speed compression into the softest setting. Make sure it's in the open setting on the climb switch if you have one. Take the hydraulic bottom out and move that to the lowest or the softest setting. You need to open up all the compression knobs all the way while setting sag. That's why we're doing that. Go to rockshox.com, locate your serial number. They also have a very useful app if you don't have a desktop computer. Then press enter. Basic information on the tuning recommendations, so we'll go weigh myself. When you're weighing yourself, it's very important to put all your gear on. You can use Rockshox recommended setting, or you can do it my way. I like to start on the slowest rebound number and then slowly turn it faster until it feels too fast. The goal is you want the rebound as fast as possible without it bucking you off the bike. Bolt the shock into your bike. Slowly compress the suspension with about 30 psi in it. You're looking for contact on the frame, any binding, any mistakes you made. This can really pay dividends if you did do something wrong. At full compression, make sure you double, triple check nothing's hitting. Pumping up the shock is a special affair. You're gonna put 50 PSI in, and then you have to compress the suspension to 40%. And sometimes you have to compress it to 40% a couple times to equalize the chambers. Having to compress the shock 40% of its travel to equalize the chambers may require you to remove the shock pump because it has that extra bulk. So it can be a complete pain in the butt. Once you have the shock fully inflated, you're gonna have to compress it some more to equalize the chambers. The massive negative air chamber takes a little bit of adjusting and equalizing. The good news is the sag indicators are amazing, and the Rockshox website is dead on the money for the air pressure. Shoot for 30% sag when you start out, and if anything, add some extra pressure and go to 25% sag. I ran multiple experiments on this shock. I put a full volume spacer kit, lowered the pressure down, tried to make the shock ride on the compression. It doesn't work as good. You want to use the air spring to make the mid-stroke support. This is not a Fox Float X2, it's a completely different animal. Got this awesome section of trail. There's a bunch of high-speed impacts, bunch of roots, steep section down there, and then there's a flowy section up top. We're gonna start off on the red clicker, the rebound. We are not touching the compression at all for the first part of the trail. Isolate the two circuits, it will make your life easier. Don't be a lizard brain like me in the first video and go ride it and get frustrated. The Vivid only has one rebound adjuster, so we need to blend it with the fast section of trail and the upper section. I moved the rebound 2 clicks from dead slow. It felt really good on the blue sections of flow up top, but as the trail got steeper and more rowdy on the bottom, the bike felt pretty bucky, so I immediately put it back to the fully slow position. You want the rebound as fast as you can make it without the rear tire bucking you off the bike or feeling bucky. Longer travel bikes like a slower rebound because they're so big, they're like a big bus. With the rebound adjustment complete, we're gonna move on to the compression. Always start with the low speed compression, and when you think low speed, think this, smooth blue flow trails. And we're not gonna touch the high speed till I get the low speed dialed, because they're both kind of related even though they are independent. Set the low speed compression to the middle setting or the neutral setting and take a run and see how it feels. It only took 2 runs of the low speed compression on the blue flow trail up here for me to figure out I like it all the way soft. That's personal preference. What compression is going to do is going to slow the stroke down. When you're on blue smooth flow trails, you want the suspension to be reactive and fun and poppy and playful. So that's why I have the low speed compression in the slowest setting. That's personal preference. You may like low speed compression dialed up. Repeat that exact process on the high speed compression. Put it to the middle, go ride some fast hitting trails and decide, do you want it harder or softer? After spending several days playing around with the high speed compression and the hydraulic bottom out, I realized these are spice to taste kind of adjustments. It just depends on the rider. Doesn't matter which one you adjust first. I actually like the way the bike feels with the hydraulic bottom out in the middle and the high speed compression in the softest setting. Just depends on your riding style. Experiment with these 2 adjustments. These are the adjustments I ended up with. Don't necessarily copy them, just copy the order I did everything. What I really found to help the Vivid was to drop the pressure 3 to 5 PSI or add 3 to 5 PSI. The air spring in the Vivid is very special and it provides a very poppy, playful, super fun bike. Absolutely favorite shock I've ever rode at this little bike park. Here is the order of setup. We start with volume spacers, sag, rebound, low speed compression, and then play with high speed compression and hydraulic bottom out like salt and pepper. I wonder if the Zeb would make the Vivid even better. Let's put it on and find out.